The greater Cleveland area is so lucky to have so many beautiful natural areas and parks and places where people can experience nature. But as soon as you step outside of a designated nature preserve or a park, things change quite a bit and quickly. As soon as you get out of a nature preserve, it's like there's a line or a hard edge between the deep forest of the preserve itself and the surrounding urban landscape. Now, this can be a problem for nature. It's a phenomenon known as habitat fragmentation. And this can disrupt pollinator pathways, can open up natural areas to the invasion of non-native plants, and can reduce the overall quality of our landscape. Now, not everywhere can be a nature preserve, or can it? Today, we're going to learn about a program meant for private homeowners called Nature in My Backyard, where you can learn how to bring the habitat structure of a nature preserve and all of the ecological, social, and economic benefits of nature right to your own backyard. Before we get started though, go ahead and hit like and subscribe so that you never miss your dose of nature in the city. Let's see how we can reduce habitat fragmentation 1 yard at a time.
Nature in My Backyard, an education and certification program of the Audubon Society of Greater Cleveland, Shaker Lakes Garden Club, together with the Master Gardeners of Cuyahoga County. It offers 2 routes to certification. You can either just do the steps yourself and let us know, or you can get a visit by 2 Master Gardener volunteers who will come to your backyard and consult with you. What we mainly do is help you identify non-native invasives. Most people can't identify the problem plants that they have in their yards, and these plants are invading our natural areas and they're out competing our natural vegetation or native vegetation, and so it's a really big problem. The other component is that we help you figure out what your site conditions are. Again, we're Master Gardeners, and we look around and we help you decide what the native plants are that would be most successful. And we really, we're the boots on the ground for the Doug Tallamy movement, which he was the first to really bring it to the forefront, how native plants and native insects and all of our songbirds and butterflies go hand in hand with each other. Let's look at it from a bird's eye view, like the eye of a chickadee flying over your yard. Where is it that the chickadee is going to be able to make its nest or find shelter from predators or find food or water? And if you look at your yard from, that 50-foot view up there and try to figure out what do you have for any of our songbirds or pollinators for that matter, you'll see that you're not offering much. And really at this point, our metro parks and our natural areas are not sufficient to sustain the wildlife populations that are critical to our own well-being. So if we are to come to your yard, we just first go through all the paperwork to start, and then we try to target your most important area, what you really want to work on, and we identify non-native invasives for you. Good morning, Abigail. I'm Jane Ellison. This is Melissa Suppler. Okay, and thank you for having us over. We're really excited to be here. We're always thrilled when somebody wants to get involved in increasing biodiversity and making their yards into something that's more ecologically beneficial for the world. So anyway, what we're going to do is be here for about an hour and a half today, and the two of us will be giving you information, and we'll start with your priority space. Okay. We want to remind you that we are the Master Gardeners of Cuyahoga County, and we have a callback hotline and an email Ask an Expert line through OSU, right? And this is an all-volunteer organization supported by your generous contribution to the Audubon Society of Greater Cleveland. So there you go. And it's a great spot too because you're in a neighborhood, so lots of people will be inspired by your actions.
And you have great sun here.
Yeah, that's great. Let me just further say, Abigail, that the reason this location is so important is because of the migrating songbirds. You're near the lake, and just imagine all these birds flying up from South America that have burned up all their body fat and they need to refuel before they cross the lake. If they look around and find just grass, there's nothing for them. And the same with when they are returning from Canada to go back to South America. They need to really bulk up. And so just a few actions here will make a big difference. You want to always be sure that you're agreeable to the neighbors and you're doing something that looks in keeping with the rest of the neighborhood. And so you have a lot of lawn here. So what we would encourage you to do is begin working out the beds from the beginning, from up close to the house. Okay. And always the first action is to plant a native tree, right? Yeah. But we like to think of planting in layers so that you'd have a canopy tree here and then maybe some understory trees anchoring either side of the home and then some bushes in front of that. The other thing about shrubs is we all are thinking in terms of pollinators. We want plants for pollinators, but we also have to think in terms of larval host plants. So there are many specific relationships that have evolved over ecological time with host plants and the native plants. A keystone species, it is the one stone that without that everything collapses. So there are also keystone species in the environment. And something like an oak is a keystone species. There are over 500 insects that eat oak leaves. We always talk about the right plant in the right place, and you can see that what you're doing with the yews here, you're going to have to prune them or trim them a lot in order to keep them in bounds. So just plant around it. Yeah. Let's walk over to the side of the house. You're going to want to hollow out the entrance, not block the door, and I would think you would want some noise mitigation. Yeah. And so a major tree here would do that for you. You're going to want to mulch an area at least 3 feet wide away from the trunk and keep the mulch 3 inches away from the trunk of your tree. And you can even plant a small tree if this is where you're thinking of doing it, and you'll be surprised by how quickly it grows if you do reduce the competition by the grass. Because even a small tree, the insects will come to. Little caterpillars are eating them, and we have to think about where the caterpillars spend the winter. And it just is, that's something we all want, the pollinators in the summer, but where do they spend the winter?
They need somewhere to winter.
Yeah, right, in the leaf litter. Where's your kitchen window? Where do you look out?
Right there.
Oh, so you could even put something beautiful, a red bud for spring time right there, and then move forward with some shrubs and then whatever flowers and things you wanted. these areas that are completely out of the way, like the strip between the houses, nobody's going to be using that. So to have that as lawn and grass is useless. The point of a lawn is to invite a game, or to sit down and relax on it. I mean, we all like that peaceful feeling, but that corner, definitely fill that with tall flowers, and down along the strip of the house, you can be doing things that spread. There's certain things that really run around fast and are tall and very useful. The thing that we also emphasize, Abigail, is baby steps. It just is, you just come up with your plan and then take baby steps to implement it. We like to always answer any questions, remind you that we're here for you, and the Master Gardener hotline is there. But we also like to think about what we've talked about that might be really meaningful to you and manageable for you and measurable for us.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in touch in 6 months to see how you're doing with that.
How do I feel? Okay. So the visit went really well. It was a little bit intimidating because my yard is such a blank slate, and so I wasn't sure exactly what I needed to do, and getting started on a native plant journey and doing all of that just seemed very intimidating for someone like me who hadn't really done something like that before and isn't originally from the Cleveland area, and so I don't actually know a ton about the native plants from this area. And so Jane and Melissa were great. They really gave a lot of good information, good resources, and they provided me with some good steps that seemed easy enough for me to do on my own, and then things that I could build on. And so I really enjoyed the visit. And they were very nice and super easy to talk to, and they did not judge my yard for being the blank slate that it is. And so, yeah, it was really good. I think the first thing I'm gonna do, I already found a tree that I'm gonna put, an oak tree that I'm gonna put in my front yard, and then deciding on which trees I'm gonna put in the back. So I think my first thing is gonna be kind of those anchor plants, those big trees or smaller trees that I'm gonna put down. And then I've already called 811 to figure out where everything is so I don't hit a gas line. So I've figured out where that is. And then I think just starting to figure out where my beds are gonna go and what they're gonna look like, and getting those trees planted, I think, is the first thing.
We listen to the homeowner. It is a judgment-free zone. All gardens are judgment-free zones. We just want to know what you want to do. We do large properties and tiny properties. If you have a patio, we'll turn you to the best resources. We have picked out what the best information is. Because we're master gardeners, we use mostly university research-based information, and simple, clear, concise, something where you'll be able to easily understand and follow what's written. We have a sign, and everyone, now we've got a Garden in Progress sticker that we put on our sign. So even if your landscape is not perfect, none of ours are, you can put a sign out front, and that sparks conversation. It just advertises more or less what you're doing. And so we're basically spreading the word by word of mouth. Everyone in this organization, we're master gardeners, and so we're out there. We love people. We just want to meet you. We want to see your garden. We want to help you. That's the main thing. We're helping people in our souls.
Are you thinking about getting your yard Nature in My Backyard certified? Is there a program like this similar where you live? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any questions you'd like me to pass on to the folks at Nature in My Backyard, I'm happy to do so. From the beautiful Cleveland area in Northeast Ohio, in this beautiful yard filled with native plants, my name is Alex, and I'm your CLE Urban Naturalist.